Hi everybody, Pastor Kirk here. Looking for a quiet place to do my sermon prep because it is crazy around here. It's like one of those radical makeover shows where an entire production crew is remodeling the house before, the owner returns from grocery shopping. John McDaniel is marrying Jennifer Rugg tomorrow, and there are setup teams everywhere. In the worship center, decorating for the wedding. In the family life center, decorating for the rehearsal dinner. And standing by to decorate for the reception. You venture into any one of those venues, it's like stepping into a stampede of wildebeests. Even if you're a pastor, there is no respecting of persons, I'm telling you. The wedding, of course, is not to be missed, but remember, you don't get your church card punched for Sunday. You still got to come. And it's going to be good. We even have a surprise that John does not know about, although I don't expect him to be here. I wonder if he and Jen are going to go to church on Sunday. When you're raised Baptist like they were, the only excuse for not going to church on Sunday is you died. Tonight is the rehearsal, and John has scheduled 2 hours, to rehearse for a 1-hour service. He has 3 pastors officiating. Billy Graham couldn't make it, so Pastor Henry will be filling in. I usually wear jeans to the rehearsal, but I don't know if that's the dress code, so I'm calling around trying to find out, and John is not taking calls right now. He looked remarkably calm when he poked his head in the office here yesterday. And that's what a couple of Valiums will do. I'm looking over the wedding script that I got, okay? I've done a lot of weddings in my lifetime, but I have never received a wedding script until now. Everything I say, totally scripted. They're afraid, okay? Especially with 3 pastors, we'll all be tempted to preach. Still, John should know by now that if you give a pastor a script and a time assignment, that doesn't mean anything. What's he going to do when we all start preaching? You think he's going to remember anything? Anyway, I get the last word tomorrow at the wedding. John has already gone over this with me twice, okay? Just before the benediction, I absolutely must point out that the reception is invitation only, okay? They may have cheese and crackers for the regular folks to nosh on afterwards on the patio, but the reception, okay, listen, the reception is for family and invited guests. They're not feeding 1,000 church people. John has already seen what we do with that many donut holes, okay? We're like a bunch of piranha. Imagine what a disaster it would be if I forget and invite everybody to the reception. Come on, folks, you're all family, so you're all invited. Oh, that wasn't in the script? I'm sorry. The Spirit moved me, John. John and Jen are going to sing at their own wedding, "Take My Life and Let It Be," which sounds like a contradiction. Do you think they're actually both going to get through that song? I mean, that'd be pretty amazing, don't you think? And there's some pretty high notes in that song. This is when we find out that John has a higher range than Jen. John's got a pretty good sense of humor, though. When they light the unity candle, do you think he'll be okay with the sparkler that we embedded in it? Bless them, they also wrote their own vows. That was pretty common back in the 70s when Leila and I got married. We were supposed to memorize them, which I did, but Leila cheated, and she wrote them out on a little scrap of paper and held them in her hand, which sweated so much that the ink ran into a giant blue blur. But we still got married. John isn't taking any chances. I'm supposed to hand him, pan them index cards with the vows typed out. What would they do, I wonder, if I completely rewrote the cards? Hi, John. Bad news, I lost the card. You got to make it up. Watch their expressions. Not to be missed. Saturday, the wedding, 1 o'clock. Okay, enough about the wedding already. What's going on at church? Sunday, I'm preaching on John chapter 1, okay, 35 to 51. We found the Messiah, the story of Jesus and his very first disciples. So read that passage over, okay, and find at least 10, count them, 10 different names and descriptions of Jesus, which is interesting because John's biography of Jesus doesn't even mention him by name until verse 17. But then before chapter 1 ends, 5 different witnesses, 5, weigh in on who is Jesus. Sunday, Carla Harris is directing the choir. John Williams leading worship at our classic service. Cecil Ramirez, playing John's fabled Steinway piano. Cecil, by the way, was bass guitar last week at SML. Man, he is a fantastic musician. And then Ty Fuentes is our SML worship leader. Ty is expecting a baby in October and is already showing. That is Brooke, his wife, is showing. Ty is telling everybody they're having a baby. And last week they even tried to claim the Mother's Day prize for youngest baby in the house. Sorry, Ty, Brooke, in utero doesn't count. On a serious note, but very brief, we have voter registration forms at our welcome tables when you come to church on Sunday. If you're not registered to vote yet, register, okay? And this Monday is the deadline to register for the June primary. We are T-minus 1 month and counting to the Luis Palau Festival. Luis Palau. On Wednesday, May 30, we're having an evangelism training workshop for everybody in our congregation. And that will equip you not only to be a counselor at the festival, but also to be able to share the gospel with anybody, which is a crucial basic skill for any Christian. So please mark your calendar, come to the training. The Sunday festival, by the way, Luis Palau, it falls on Father's Day. And we want you dads to tell your families, the best present you could get me on Father's Day is to take me to the Palau Festival. It is, I'm telling you, it is going to be awesomely fun. And those of you who have dad obligations on that day, be sure to schedule them so that you can come to the festival. Maybe take dad out on Friday night instead. And you should make those arrangements now. Next Sunday, Memorial Weekend, we couldn't talk John into coming back early. He's on a cruise, so we're having a bluegrass group lead worship. Seriously, they're called the Wintons, and I love bluegrass. I'm a big Nickel Creek and Alison Krauss fan. And bluegrass, has roots in gospel, which will be obvious in that Sunday's worship. A classic bluegrass set for the classic service, and then a more rock and roll hootenanny for SML. By the way, how is everybody doing on your daily Bible reading, You can go to our website and click on the Bible reading plan in case you've lost yours. Remember, if you only have 15 minutes, focus on the New Testament passages. I am sure enjoying the chapter in Proverbs that we're reading this month, Proverbs 15. Listen to some of these great aphorisms, A gentle answer turneth away wrath. You remember that? Very famous, Proverbs 15:1. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge appealing, but the mouth of a fool belches out foolishness. Belches. That's funny. The Lord is watching everywhere, keeping his eye on both the evil and the good. That's verse 3. The evil and the good. See, he knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake, That's the Lord. That's not Santa Claus. Keeping his eye on both the evil and the good, And then verse 9, the Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue godliness. He loves those who pursue godliness. A glad heart makes a happy face. A broken heart crushes the spirit. For the despondent, every day brings trouble. For the happy heart, life is a continual feast. Life is a continual feast. Verse 15. Don't you love that? Better to have little with fear for the Lord than to have great treasure and inner turmoil. That's verse 16. Verse 17. A bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than steak with someone you hate. That's verse 17. Don't quote that to Layla. I still prefer steak, Easy on the vegetables, honey. And then verse 22. Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many advisors bring success. And that last proverb is good news as we move through Vision Month here at FOPC. Our vision and strategy team, last week, we published this brochure with a working vision statement about our church, It's about our church family, our church identity, and our church future. And we invited the whole congregation to give their input and feedback. You can post a blog response, you go to our website, or you can just mark up the brochure, drop in one of our vision boxes at church. And this Sunday between services, over in the cafe, you can come and interact with the vision team. We want to invite you to do that. This vision is a picture or a plan of our future. And as Proverbs says, plans go wrong for lack of advice, your advice. But many advisors bring success. Okay? That's enough for now. Got to pull out my wedding script, practice my lines, also rewrite the vows. See you on Sunday, where I'll punch your church card. Bye-bye.